Hey there, and welcome into a fresh edition of the Mental Game Podcast. I'm Sam Brief, here in the home studio in Chicago, and I'm so pumped to share today's episode with you because we're shining a light on a global ambassador of one of the fastest growing sports of all time. Every year in America and worldwide, participation and viewership of flag football is doubling. It's going to be in the 2028 Olympics right here in America, in sunny Los Angeles. It's really taking over in so many ways, and it's only exacerbated by some of the health and safety concerns associated with tackle football. So, case in point, flag football's everywhere, at the youth level, the high school level, the college level, and the professional level. And Amber Clark Robinson is one of the superstars at all of those levels. She's simultaneously a team captain for the U.S. national women's team, a head coach at Saginaw Valley State University at the NCAA level, and a global ambassador because she's on the board of directors for USA Football. Not only is she all of those things, but she's managing all those roles at once. But the incredible thing about Amber that you'll learn in a few minutes on the podcast is for most of her life, she was told she couldn't even play football because girls just don't do that. So she had to direct her athletic talent, which was superior, into a ton of other sports. Then she was told, no, you're not good enough to make the team, where she was actually cut from the U.S. national team. Then she tore her MCL before a tryout for the national team, and all in all, wasn't even a member of the team for 3 years. Once she got on, though, she became a captain, a superstar, and now has multiple gold medals hanging in her house. So Amber Clark Robinson is an amazing story of resilience, perseverance, and leadership within the flag football community. And I'm delighted to have her on the Mental Game. You're going to learn a ton. You're going to want to watch some flag football, maybe even play a little bit too. So here's Amber Clark Robinson on the Mental Game Podcast in 3, 2, 1. And now a joy to welcome Amber Clark Robinson into the Mental Game, one of the best flag football players and coaches this great country has to offer. Coach, welcome in.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Is the sun shining on you? I'd love to just start with where you're at right now because I know a lot of your day-to-day as you join me from campus in Saginaw, Michigan, is your role not as a flag football superstar, but as a flag football coach building a program. So what is day-to-day like for you right now as you set the groundwork?
For sure. So yeah, I'm in beautiful Saginaw, Michigan with the greatest of weather.
Oh yeah,
But
Midwest, undefeated.
gotta love it. Gotta love it. But no, right now my day-to-day is pretty much a lot of recruiting, and a lot of just like administrative work. Starting a new program is a lot more behind the scenes than people realize. You have to establish, like literally everything. So you have to establish all the new equipment, all the new uniforms. You have to just make a team in general. So being able to recruit and try to find athletes that I think that would fit the mold and what I'm trying to create here, has been like my main priority, but also just making sure that we have things established on campus for the players once they get here.
What types of recruits are coming in? I mean, this is a sport that a lot of football fans have caught on by now, right? Is taking over, right? At the youth, high school, college, professional, international levels. So what types of recruits are you welcoming in on campus?
A lot of flag football recruits, honestly. You would think that it'd be other multi-sport athletes or just different sport athletes, but it's honestly a lot of flag football athletes right now. It's been a really growing game. So it went from my first year recruiting when I was coaching in 2023. That first stint of my coaching career was like finding girls who have never played before or have played for like maybe a year. But now the girls I'm recruiting have been playing of all of high school. Some have been playing in middle school. So I'm actually recruiting a flag football athlete now. Like no disrespect to the past athletes, but like athletes like just like in basketball or volleyball or soccer who've been doing it at a very young age. We now have that available to the flag football space.
Well, it's funny you say no disrespect to the past athletes. That was you, right? You
Yeah.
you came into this sport. I mean,
Yes.
you were all over the board from volleyball to basketball to track and field, which you did in high school and college, and then you only started playing flag football as a coach, or sorry, not as a coach, as a professional, as a
Yes.
grown adult. So
Yes.
it's interesting how you say, no disrespect really
Yeah.
to yourself.
Right, right. You know what I mean? Like you said, I grew up playing all the sports, any sport under the sun, honestly. I was a very active kid. I wanted to try tons of different things just to keep me active and just keep my mind flowing. Because I got bored easily as well. But yeah, I did not get the opportunity until 2020 to start flag football. So I've only been playing for going on 6 years. My first tournament was Memorial Weekend, and it was always one of the biggest tournaments in Texas that a lot of good athletes showed up to, and that's where I got my showing for the first time, and I kind of got a good welcome to flag football. Like, hey, it's not as easy as you thought it would have been. I definitely was not the best athlete in the first few tournaments. I think my coach is probably contemplating asking me to come out there and saying, I don't know, maybe this isn't the sport for you. Maybe you should go back to tackle. But I'm glad I stuck with it because it's opened a lot of doors and provided a lot of opportunities for me.
I want to zoom in on that moment, if that's all right,
That's
because
fine.
when you started in flag football, you did an interview where you said that you had a little bit of imposter syndrome at the time. And I'm
Yeah.
hearing a little bit of that in your recollection now, but you tried out for the U.S. national team
Mhm.
2021 and you didn't
Mhm.
make the team. A couple weeks before tryouts in 2022, your big redemption chance, you tore your MCL. You didn't even
Mhm.
make the team until 2023. So I'm sure
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome was running rampant. What do you remember most vividly about that aspect at that time?
So the first year wasn't too much of a heartbreak for me. Just well, actually, no, I lied. The first year was a heartbreak. The second year wasn't so much of a heartbreak because I knew due to injury I couldn't do it. But the first year, I honestly like cried my eyes out. I'm like, I thought I had like the best showing of anything I could have put on this field. I put my all into it over these last years, and I'm not just coming from tackle, but starting this flag journey that I'm trying to do. Like I've put my all into it, and it's like, why was I not good enough? I felt like I competed. I felt like I was one of the best out there, not to be like cocky, but just very confident in, what I displayed out there. I felt very good about it. And to not get that call back was very disheartening. I even like talked to one of the athletes that was on the team, and we had like a nice heart to heart about it. And I just let her know like it's kind of how I was feeling about it. My husband, my then boyfriend, but now husband at the time, he actually had to come and check on me because I was like bawling my eyes out in the house. He had to like leave work to come and make sure that I was okay because it was just that disheartening. But like I said, after the second year, that wasn't too much of a heartbreak. It was just one of those like, like dang, like I thought I had the opportunity now, but I still don't. But it's not like this is a season or a career-ending injury. You know what I mean? This is just something that's very minor. Luckily, it was a grade one, so it wasn't super terrible. So it was like a 6 week thing, but it just happened to kind of fall into the tryout space. But thankfully, they understood that I was still a dynamic athlete in their eyes, because they still allowed me to be an alternate. So because I was an alternate, that's how I was able to get my space to come and be a part of the 2023 team. Is because the alternates get an automatic invite. So like I said, I didn't get the chance to play that year, but I still had the opportunity just because I was able to at least be a part of that quote unquote USA team because I was one of the six alternates on the team.
It's so impressive how you were able to just pick yourself back up and keep trying. I mean,
Hmm.
I look at your athletic resume and I see someone who, in so many sports at every level, had a ton of success.
Yeah.
Right, high school, you won a state title in basketball. You won state track and field championships. You did very well in college. You were a league MVP on the tackle football side for a few years. Success, 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 and
Hmm.
then you were cut. I'm hearing some of the stages of grief. What
Hmm.
was that rejection process like, and how'd you push forward?
I don't know. Like I said, it was definitely a tough feeling. It was like you said, it was one of those like, am I not good enough? Like, can I not compete at something that I've always been great at? As an athlete, you want to always be great. You want to be perfectionist. You want to be somebody that can always dominate in whatever sport you come across. Just because that's how we think of ourselves as athletes is like we're dominant in whatever we do because we just have that. I feel like we just have that grind about us. We have that mentality about what we do. So it was definitely tough. But I love the sport so much. So I think that was just kind of the push is like, you've loved it. You've always wanted to try it. You're doing it. Just because you got a couple of no's doesn't mean it's like a no forever.
At first, you were getting, and when I say at first, I mean you as a young girl growing up in North Carolina, you were getting no's in the context of no, you can't even try to play this
Yeah.
sport, right? You watched your brothers and your cousins play, and you were
Yeah.
told, no, girls don't do this. So I,
Hmm.
I guess at least now, I'm looking at 2021, 22. It's like, okay, you at least know you're getting the opportunity to play. You just have to, earn your way onto the team. Do you think that the early foundations of getting rejected at the concept of playing the sport are part of what's kept that fire in you?
For sure. But I'm also just like a very headstrong person. And when I set my mind to doing something and I really want to do it, I'm gonna find any and every way to make it happen. You can ask anybody that knows me. I say I'm gonna do something and you like hear the passion in what I say I'm gonna do, like best believe I'm gonna find a way to make it happen through hella high water. Like it's gonna happen. Like I was nervous to tell my parents about me trying out for the tackle team, but at that time I was like, all right, Amber, you're 26. Or I think I was 24, 25 at the time. I was like, all right, you're somewhat grown in a way. I was like, you can tell your parents like it's they don't have to like it, but they at least can respect your wishes of this is something that you really want to try, that you've done everything they've asked you to do over these last 20 years. You know what I mean? Like now I feel like it can be respected by them and they don't have to support it, but I just want them to know that this is something that I wanted to do. But that wasn't the case. I know my family's super supportive. They drove down with me for the tryout and everything too, but it was still one of those moments of like, all right, here it is. Like they've always told me no, but I want to do this. And I just want to make it very clear. Like I said, they respected it and they still support it to this day. They've come to Finland. They wanted to come to China. I said, well, that's a long flight. You don't need to get on that flight. You need to do that. But they came to Panama. They'll come to just about anything if they can.
That's amazing. From Finland to Panama. I mean, this is truly, I'm not sure the average American realizes how it is American football, but
Mhm.
how international the game is. So, I mean, it's amazing to think about. I mean, you competed in the World Games in Finland and all over this great world. You know, I love talking to headstrong people like you because I see there are two types of headstrong people. There are people who appear headstrong, right? Who say what they want to do and say they have a lot of gumption. But then there are the people who actually think it inside. You strike me as the second type. I'm curious what types of messages you tell yourself
Mhm.
in these moments of falling short, in these moments of success, or just wanting to do something.
The one I've kind of been saying recently is like, or the one I've been saying in the interview is like, just because it's a no now doesn't mean it's a no forever. So it may not be your opportunity right now, but at the end of the day, the pathway is it's written. The path is written for you. You know what I mean? It's already written in the stars. It's already how it's already aligned how it needs to be aligned. It's just little things that need to fall in place in order to get there. So I just try to tell myself through that, like, don't stress it. Don't try to force it, you know what I mean? Like allow these things to come to you when they're supposed to come to you, because when you force it sometimes it's not what you want, and then yeah, you're disappointed, but then also if you rush you don't get a chance to like enjoy it at the same time.
Right. And you don't want to get those opportunities at the wrong time before you're ready. I've thought about that in my own life. There are opportunities I've gotten maybe a little later than I wanted to, but I don't know if I was ready last year or the year before. So I think timing can be a beautiful thing too. And for you, timing was great
Yeah.
because you get on the team finally as a full squad member in 23, and next thing you know, gold medals coming in here and there. You're team captain. You're actually also on the board of directors for USA Football, coach now in your second program. So your role in flag football has skyrocketed. What's this ride been like these last couple of years?
It's been crazy, honestly, to think about. Like in 2016, or was 20, it was December of 2016. It was really 2017 when I actually started playing. But to think 9 years ago, it was like just a something that I was like, all right, well, I'll just try it because I wanted to do it. Like, I'll just try it out. And then it was like, all right, I'm playing tackle. Cool. Now, all right, tackle I can't play tackle anymore because of COVID. But hey, there's another alternative. You know what I mean? You always say you don't want to play flag, but do it anyway. And I'm so grateful that I took the opportunity to do it because, like I said, none of this honestly would have been possible. Maybe in a different aspect, but in the place that I am now, I don't think it ever would have been possible if I didn't just take that leap of faith to go do that. And I'm thankful for all the people that brought me along to even get to flag football. Like I said, I didn't know anything about the league. A couple of girls told me about it, and then there was this one coach that took a chance on me, and he's still been taking chances on me. He still helps me to this day. Nathan Williams, he's like one of the greatest in flag football, like knowing everybody, knowing all the information. Like I said, he was able to place me in the spaces. He was the one that told me about USA Football, and the opportunities that they had to offer. I think he even was the one that sent me about the board of directors thing. Like, hey, this might be something that you're interested in. You know what I mean? And kind of to your point earlier of like, if it happens at the moment you're not ready for it, it may not turn out the way you wanted it to turn out. I know in 2020, when the coaching jobs actually started in flag football, it's funny, Liz Sowers and Kate Sowers, they actually reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, do you want to come be a GA?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to live in Kansas. Like, what's in Kansas?" Same thing I said about flag football. Like, no, I don't want to play flag football. That's soft. You know what I mean? But then 2 years later, I ended up meeting another coach, and I started getting a little bit more serious about the game and wanting to make a like significant impact in it. And I was able to talk to different coaches, and I found a job, by just being able to, stay grounded in what I was doing. And I get it, like maybe that was an opportunity for me, but there's a space somewhere. It may not be coaching. I even said like, hey, I'll be the assistant coach. I don't want to be the head coach. I don't need to be the head coach. Like I just want to learn. I've never coached before, especially at the collegiate level. You know what I mean? I'll be grateful just to be a graduate assistant, whatever that might be. But it somehow fell into my lap of being a head coach, and uh yeah, and then now here, moving up from NAIA to Division 2, it's like I want to continue to grow with this game. This game is exploding. This game is growing, and I want to be able to do whatever I can do at the highest of levels. You know what I mean? I play at the highest of levels right now. Division 2, there are Division 1s as well, but at the time for me it was Division 2. That was one of the highest of levels. So being able to start doing that is like just like I said, I'm very into growth. So any way I can grow and make an impact, I definitely want to do that as much as possible because not only did this job provide, a lot of opportunities and resources for me to be successful, it's also providing opportunities for my players as well. So that's what I always try to look into when I'm picking up these different endeavors of whatever I'm doing or doing these different events. And I'm sponsored by two companies that are also being very gracious to my players as well. You know what I mean? So whatever the success I find, I try to find that for my players as well. So it's been a long story short, it's been a whirlwind of events for the last 6 years of trying to be in this flag football space.
Yeah, I'll say. And it's all happening at once. I see so many examples of people in sport, right, who go from a star player to then paying it forward to the next generation by becoming a coach, to then taking it to an even grander stage by being more of an ambassador for the sport, maybe traveling around and serving on things like boards. But there's usually that progression of like, okay, I'm a player, I'm a coach. Now I'm
Mhm.
a little more of a, global ambassador type. You're all three at the same time. I mean, how do you even do that? How do you segment seriously your brain, right? We all have limited amounts of brain
Yeah.
power. There's the mental game of being a player, a coach, and an ambassador. How the
Mhm.
heck do you do it all at once?
I honestly don't know. It it doesn't get too jumbled. You'd be surprised. It really doesn't get super jumbled. But I'm grateful for it because I get a chance to live, sleep, and breathe football, and that's what I've always kind of wanted to do. So I'm trying to be like present in everything that I'm doing. But honestly, the coaching and the playing aspect, they honestly go hand in hand. Because what I learned on the field as a player, I try to bring that back to my players. And then what I learned from being a coach and being able to see something from a different perspective, I try to bring that into my get my playing space of like, okay, think of it as if you were seeing it from this angle. What are some adjustments that you could have made? You know what I mean? And being able to dive into film because I have to break down film and scout reports for my players, it allows me to become a better film watcher for myself when I'm playing. So when I'm scouting other teams and playing against different teams, I can start picking up things that I'll be trying to pick up for my players. And then as far as the ambassador part, like I said, I'm just trying to give back as much as I can. I know me and my husband, we have a saying, we want to be either significant or a participant in everything you do in life. You know what I mean? So if you want to be significant, that's where you want to make that impact. If you want to be a participant, that's any and everybody can say they're doing it, just to say they're doing it. But what are you truly doing to change the aspect or the environment that you're in? So that's why I take on the ambassador role pretty heavy because not just for me and being like a woman and being that young girl that wanted to play when she was older, it's also being that representation for those younger black and brown girls as well. You know what I mean? Seeing that there is a space for us at the high level, and there is that you can be an elite level athlete, and maybe you may not see it at this moment, but there is somewhere for you. And like I said the other day, like I'll leave the door open for you. You know what I mean? I'm trying to create this pathway. I'm trying to create this like stairwell for them to come into.
I love the saying you and your husband have,
Yeah.
right? You can either be significant or be a participant. I'd love to
Mhm.
hear the origin story. How did you guys start saying that moniker to each other, and how do you adapt it into your lives?
It's kind of something he said to me when I was starting um my flag football space. Um, and he's also very business minded too. So he thinks a lot differently. And like we kind of are one and the same of like we don't just do stuff just to say we're doing it. Like we don't believe in participation trophies. We don't believe in just because you showed up, oh, you get an award. Like no, like put some effort into it. Like things require effort. Everything's not handed to you on like a silver platter. So if you want to make a change, if you want to make a difference, if you want to um change the environment they're in, if you don't like it, change it. You know what I mean? Find a way that you can be impactful to the people around you. So yeah, like I said, it was more so a saying that he said, but that's just kind of what we preach to our players as well. It's like if you're gonna come here to play college at an elite level, try to be significant as much as possible because you want to create that legacy so that when people look back on it and they're like, hey, you said you played flag in 2026. You know what I mean? They go back and look and like, look at all the success that you had, not even just like by wins and losses or accolades. It's like, but oh, you created a camp or you impacted this many girls in the game. You know what I mean? If they took those things into account, I think more people will be a little bit more intentional about what they do as opposed to just saying, hey, I'm just doing it and like the look of it pretty much.
Oh, I'm about to pin that to my corkboard. Seriously. I think that it's one of the most amazing sayings I've heard because it really makes me think, about my own life, the things
Mhm.
I do, whether it's writing or broadcasting, am I participating and just doing it, or am I being significant or doing my best to be significant in it? And I think it's worth anyone reflecting, what are you doing? Are you at least making the effort to be significant in it? I think that is a really, really great way to frame things.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to zoom out a little bit
Okay.
on flag football as a sport because clearly you are significant in it. Make no mistake about that. That's a big reason why I was so amped to have you on the podcast in the first place. But now that you're a two-time head coach, moving up from NAIA to the Division II level in the NCAA, you're on the board of directors. We know this sport is going to the Olympics in LA in 2028. The United States is starting to perform very, very well on the international level, both men's and women's sides. What is the momentum like of this sport and the mental game of being part of a rocket ship that's just
Yeah.
taking off?
Honestly, just staying present in every moment, because this game is growing so fast. They say exponentially, it's the fastest growing sport in America. It doubles in size every year, because so many more people are just like picking up this sport and wanting to play. And then with it being the Olympics, I feel like it's skyrocketed even more. You know what I mean? So I think as long as you just stay present and everything that's happening, and like I said, just soak it up because you don't want to just get too laser focused on something and then now you're like missing out on all the beauty in the process that you're doing. You know what I mean? So just staying present and taking every opportunity you can to better yourself, better the sport. I think is only going to be able to continue to grow a lot better.
The eyeballs are growing so much too,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the part it's one of the fastest growing sports of all time in terms of participation. Then I think
Mhm.
of the people participating by watching and following and
Right.
being interested in it. I mean, it is truly incredible. And I think about what you told me earlier. Oh, flag football, that's soft stuff,
Yeah.
right? What should we all know about flag football? Because I know, and maybe not everyone knows, it's not soft stuff at
No.
all.
It's not. Honestly, it's very technical. Because yeah, there's no like contact, there's no like throwing your body weight around and being like super physical, but it's still very technical in what you do. You have to have very solid feet and be able to have very solid hands. On the offensive side, you have to have very solid hips on the defensive side so that you can be able to stay in front of your receiver. Your IQ has to be high because the space is a lot smaller, decisions happen a lot faster. So you have to be able to understand like this can be a possibility of what this route combo can be, or this can be a possibility of where the hole in the window is going to be because it's a very small window that you have to find. So it's a lot of technical things that go into the sport of flag football that I think create some really elite level athletes.
It's a thrill to watch, I have
Yeah.
to say. I mean, I clearly see the technical differences between tackle and flag, and I mean, it is just next level. So for anyone out there listening who's like, "Oh, I might want to, want to try that out playing or watching," you better
Yeah.
because it's coming fast and furious to
For
a
sure.
market or a TV near you. And I'm honored to have one of the ambassadors and very significant people in this game on this podcast today. So, Amber, thank you so much for coming on the mental game.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having me and just sharing our story. Honestly, everybody that takes a chance to dive into flag football and express the greatness of it is always great to see because not a lot of people do understand the sport. Not a lot of people know about the sport. So anytime we have like just visibility of it, it means more than anything. There's so many states. There's 17 states right now with it sanctioned, 21 pilot programs in high school. There's colleges opening up literally like every day. You'll see a new one opening up, whether it's at the NAI level or the NCAA level or the JUCO level. And then there's tons of countries opening up. Like Africa had its first continentals this past summer. You know what I mean? So people don't realize like how great and how like explosive and exciting and entertaining the sport can be. So thank you for giving me the platform to speak about it and send your praises to it.
It's my pleasure. You just have to promise me that you'll come back in the lead up to the launch of your program and to the Olympics and to all that's to come. I want to make sure we get part 2, part 3, part 4 as this thing keeps taking off.
For sure. I'm happy to be here for all the parts.
Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Sam.
Hey, back here in the studio. What a great conversation with Amber, right? I mean, she is just awesome. And I wasn't just trying to hype her up when I told her on the podcast, yeah, I love your participant significant thing, that mantra. I mean it. I'm writing it on my phone as a reminder to pin so that I think with everything I do in my life, whether it's broadcasting or writing or being a great husband, friend, family member, am I being significant in that role or am I just doing it? So I love that from someone who's actually learned how to deal with rejection, learned how to carve her way into a world, and then start to take it over. So Amber Clark Robinson, just a gem of a listen here on the Mental Game Podcast. Fired up for many more editions with her and to watch her sport continue to take off. So that's been Amber Clark Robinson. I've been Sam Brief. As always, appreciate you hopping on the Mental Game, supporting, subscribing, reviewing, and sharing it with anyone who you think will be interested. All those things very much appreciated. So that'll do it for this episode. I will talk to you next time. A lot of good irons are in the fire for us. Have a great day. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Adios.